Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Kari and today I'm doing my September wrap-up. I read 6 whole books in September and then I'm halfway through a couple more which I will briefly mention. The first one I'm still reading La Sombra del Viento by Carlos Ruiz Zafón because again Spanish and I have not had the mental energy to do anything with it right now. The second one is a nonfiction by Alison Weir and that is The Princess in the Tower. I am borrowing that from a friend and am still working my way through it. The last one that I'm halfway through is Christina, Queen of Sweden. I don't recall the author, but that is a library book that I am almost exactly halfway through and am hoping to finish this week. So that'll be in my October wrap-up. But those are the books that I'm in the process of. Now, the books that I read fully in September begin with Upon a Burning Throne. I always want to say Once Upon a Burning Throne, which is not right. Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker. This is an Indian-based fantasy, subcontinent India, and it follows these two princes, one of whom is albino and one of whom is blind, in a place where warriors are revered and basically your prince or your emperor has to be a warrior. Having an albino prince who can't go out in sunlight and a blind prince who sort of loses his will to live at some point doesn't really go well. However, these two princes have been chosen by what's called the Burning Throne, which is this giant slab of rock that burns anybody who claims to be the next prince, except for the legitimate next prince. It's kind of like the Sorting Hat, but it's a rock. Anyway, the two princes are chosen by that throne, and then we follow them through all sorts of politics and war. I gave this book a 3.75 because I overall liked it. Parts of it felt a little long. There were definitely descriptions, especially in the first half, that felt incredibly unnecessary. And maybe unnecessary is the wrong word, but they felt wrongly placed. Like we didn't need to actually know exactly what all these 6 generals looked like. It's helpful, but there was a page at least describing the description of these 6 generals right at the start of a battle, and that seemed off to me. So I didn't necessarily like placement of all of the descriptions. I did appreciate them though. And then my other big thing was just that the plot seemed to get lost in all of the subplots. It felt more like a series of novels within one giant bind-up than it did an actual coherent novel. That said, I am still going to continue on to the second one because I'm really curious where we're going with that. I also did really enjoy the strong female characters. They are written as people and not just objects, which I enjoyed. The feminism of the Empress was a bit brick-wielding, we'll say. It felt sometimes like he was putting in her lines very clearly to say, look, I'm a feminist, which lovely, great, thank you, but that part of the character just didn't quite click, or more specifically the conversations that she had didn't quite click in that way. If it had been done more subtly, it probably would have been fine. The next one was one I listened to on audiobook because I was driving up to Duluth and it was a 9-hour audiobook, so that just about matched up, and it is Wishes and Wellingtons by Julie Berry. This is a middle grade, and I think I gave it 3 stars because it wasn't a bad book, but it wasn't a great book. And to be honest, I don't really remember what it was about, which is horrible of me, I know. Oh yes, I do. There was a girl, sometime in late Victorian, early Edwardian, I think, England, who found a sardine can, and it turns out that the sardine can has a genie in it. And there's some adventures from there. Everybody's trying to get her genie. It was fine. There were a lot of loose ends left at the end, and I don't know if it's a series, but it also left a lot lacking, so I won't be continuing if it is. Like I said, 3 stars. It's not a bad book. I think it's enjoyable for a middle grade, but even for a middle grade, the simplicity was oversimplified, if that makes sense, which is why I gave it 3 stars. And then the physical books I read. I finally finished The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. I know, it took me forever. Not as long as La Sombra del Viento though. So, that's exciting. I finished this one, I think I gave it a 3.5. I did a book review on this, so I will leave that linked down below if you want to check it out and see more in-depth thoughts. But basically it felt like an incoherent mess of short stories packed into one novel. Kind of like Upon a Burning Throne. It ends nothing like the movies do, so I didn't expect that. I enjoyed the ending, actually. It was fine, but it wasn't anything special, especially after reading The Count of Monte Cristo, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I did not enjoy this one quite as much. And then we have the series that everybody's talking about and which has ripped everybody's hearts out. Thank you very much, Jay Kristoff. And that is the Nevernight series, which is Nevernight, God's Grave, and Dark Dawn. Dark Dawn came out at the beginning of the month, so you'll see it again in my haul. But I read all 3 of these in September. I meant to read them in August, or I meant to read these 2 in August, so that I could read this one right when it came out. And it just, I have not had mental energy to do a whole lot. We've had a bunch of stuff going on, and so it didn't happen. But I did read them all in September, the first 3 weeks-ish, and loved them. I gave Nevernight 4 stars, God's Grave and Dark Dawn 5. The reason I gave Nevernight 4 stars is because the first 100 pages or so take me a little bit to get into, even the second time around. It's just a lot being thrown at you in a way that feels a little bit like slogging through it. However, once I get past that 100 pages, every time I just fly through the book. Love the footnotes. Loved the ending. So good. It is about a girl who goes to an assassin school to revenge her family. And oh my goodness. Fair warning though, if you don't want any swearing, any sex, or any violence, this is the book series least for you, because it has all of those things in copious amounts, and it's amazing. I will be doing a book review on this as well, so watch out for that. Those are the 6 books I read in September. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!